Today's Sunshine Note is titled, Showing Your Underwear, the sequel to Jonah. I am against you, declares the Lord Almighty. I will lift your skirts over your face. I will show the nations your nakedness and the kingdoms your shame. Nahum 3:5. Go to any church on any given Saturday or Sunday, and you'll see her, the little girl who knows no shame. She'll parade proudly up to the front of the children's story in her sparkling dress and patent leather shoes. But instead of sitting with the other kids, she will stand and twirl. As she holds the edges of her beautiful little dress, you can almost see the desire spread across her face. She wants to raise it. Slowly, or sometimes suddenly, this angelic little being becomes a darling exhibitionist and pulls her dress right up over her head, leaving the entire audience to abandon all interest in the children's story and awe at her fiery underwear. Did you know that God once threatened to pull the skirts up over someone's face? Everybody who has spent any time in a Sabbath school or a Christian school knows the story of Jonah and how it ends. Stubborn guy has to get swallowed by a really big fish before he decides to go to Nineveh and warn them of the coming destruction. When the entire city repents, God saves them and Jonah is all bent out of shape. That's when this story ends. But it's not the end of Nineveh's story. The book of Nahum is the rest of the story. Here we read that this important Assyrian city returned to their wicked, brutal ways, and God took notice. He sent Nahum to warn them a second time that they would be destroyed. In a random prophecy in the book of Nahum, God uses this mental image of pulling their skirts over their faces to warn Nineveh that they were soon headed for shame and ruin. In the end, the city is ultimately destroyed because they didn't take God seriously, and God is once again shown to be the one in charge of history, of nations, and of the destinies of humanity. Don't get caught with your skirts pulled over your face in any meaning of the phrase. Don't wait until you are shamed and your reputation ruined before you start to take God seriously. He means what He says, and He is able to carry out His purposes in your life. It's far better to heed His warnings in the beginning than to look back and regret picking up the pieces. Are you doing anything in your life right now that is kind of shameful? Is this really how you want to be living, or is it time to make some changes? May God bless you today.